The racing at Spa is still too far away, but the news continues to pour out of Formula One during the summer break. I'm Ollie Wilson for GPFans, and this is everything you need to know in the world of F1 this Monday. We're looking at Red Bull and their wonders on the grid to try and spy on their rivals. We're talking about Valtteri Bottas' future with Mercedes again, and of course the implications of the financial cap in Formula One on the 2022 season. Before we go any further, however, just a reminder to hit that subscribe button down below to stay up to date with everything we do here at the YouTube channel. And now let's get into all those major talking points in the world of F1. Well, let's start things off at Red Bull, as Chief Technical Officer Adrian Newey has revealed the process by which rival aerodynamic concepts are analysed and copied. Copying and studying rival teams is no new thing in Formula One, as everybody looks to see what their opposition is doing with their car to try and get a competitive edge over them. Newey is often seen wandering the grid before races, inspecting Red Bull's opponents, making notes in his little red notebook as he looks to learn from every design tweak he can find on the grid. Speaking to the Talking Bull podcast, the 62-year-old discussed why his method is so effective. It is a combination of mainly looking at competitors, and of course, all the teams have their own photographer who gets hundreds of photos of our competitors each weekend, he said. But I sort of like looking at the cars because you can walk around them and see them in 3D, which is obviously one of the limitations of photographs. I think it is a sort of laziness that I don't have the time to spend endlessly looking at photographs of competition. It is easier just to walk around and see which bits catch my attention, and that can really be anything. Indeed, when the car is in the garage, I spend quite a lot of time just looking at our own car. I think it is trying to look at different angles, what we are doing and what other people are doing, and see if that sparks any ideas, which may not necessarily just be a direct copy. It is just, why is somebody doing this? And that thought process. Moving elsewhere to one of Red Bull's direct competitors in the Constructors and Drivers' Championships, Toto Wolff has hailed Valtteri Bottas as a very important pillar for Mercedes as the team deliberates over the second driver slot for the 2022 season. The Finnish driver has helped Mercedes to 4 Constructors' titles since he joined in 2017, but his future with the team is certainly uncertain, with the rumours that George Russell will be promoted from Williams to sit alongside Lewis Hamilton at Mercedes next season. Bottas currently sits 4th in the Drivers' Championship, with Lando Norris's McLaren in 3rd, while Hamilton and Max Verstappen battle it out for top spot. And when asked if it was fair to say that Bottas has had his opportunity with the constructor, Team Principal Toto Wolff told GPFans, "I think that's too harsh." He has also had a lot of bad luck when I think about Monaco, where he should have finished 2nd on the road and we let him down. It's very harsh. If your teammate is a 7-time world champion, a 100 Grand Prix winner, obviously that will be difficult. He is a great team player. He has won multiple Grand Prix. He has been on call all the time. 53 podium appearances, and that is a solid, very important pillar for us as a team that needs to be considered. Put to Wolff that there was an argument that there is a chance now to give Russell a 2-year learning course alongside Hamilton, the Austrian replied, yes, there is a strategy to vote, to go with jeunesse, youth, and see how George performs next to clearly the greatest driver of all time, and whether he can take over the baton one day when Lewis decides to call it a day. And finally, Guenther Steiner is confident F1's budget cap will level out the playing field as the sport heads into its new aerodynamic era in 2022. For the 2021 season, a strict $145 million cost cap was brought into the sport, restricting the spending of some of Formula One's biggest spenders. Add to that the new aerodynamic regulations that will be introduced from next season, and the Haas team principal Steiner believes the paddock will be on a far more even footing in 2022. When asked about his expectations for next season, Steiner replied, "I think the budget cap for sure has a lot to do with it. If there wouldn't be a budget cap, the big teams, they would have parallel developed this year's car and next year's car. I think it is a combination. Also, there runs in the wind tunnel. They are limited and the CFD calculation time is limited. So I think in general the playing field is more leveled out. But also we started off knowing with this car there is no point investing anything because the car wasn't good in 19. Last year we stopped development completely. So to put a lot of investment, not only money but also in people, is not something you want to do, because even if you do a good job, you are still around in the low midfield at the maximum. We decided to go full out for next year, so hopefully that pays off. Others in the paddock, however, aren't too happy about the financial cap in Formula 1 at the moment and the limitations that it brings for teams, with Ferrari team principal Mattia Binotto believing the cost cap needs a rethink after the team endured a €2.5 million bill for damage taken to their car so far this season. There has been a lot of discussions that if there is a crash and there is a guilty driver and you're not at fault, and if you have been damaged, then should that be exempt from the budget cap? Questioned Binotto. I think it's certainly an important point, because the reason why I mentioned €2.5 million is to show that the overall damage can be significant, so we should consider a different type of regulation in those cases. We will discuss with all the other teams and with the FIA, because this is certainly a current issue, brought to light from several sources. Therefore, it deserves to be explored, but I don't think there is an easy solution. So do you agree with Mattia that the cost cap should perhaps be rediscussed with the teams and the FIA to prevent damage limitation on teams' budgets through damage limitation, I guess? And do you agree with Mercedes that Valtteri Bottas is a key pillar for the constructor? And does that perhaps mean that he does have a future next season alongside Lewis Hamilton in the number 2 driver's slot? Let us know in the comments section below. And of course, remember to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with everything we do here at GP Fans on the YouTube channel. And of course, on Twitter and Instagram, don't forget to sign up there at GP Fans Global. That's at GP Fans Global to stay up to date with everything we do across all of our platforms.